Okay, welcome back to episode 24. We're about to get stuck into Fans Pulse Lap 3. Do you have any candidate discussion topics that you would like us to tackle on a future episode? If you do, please don't hesitate to get in touch. You can email us, you can WhatsApp us, you can comment below any of our social media posts, and we will, I absolutely guarantee, we'll kick the tires on any suggested discussion topics, and you may well see your suggested topic featured in a forthcoming episode. Right, let's get stuck into Fans Pulse Lap 3. However, just before we do, it'll be very remiss of me because Mr. McDonald all night long has had what looks like one of his old race suits hanging up behind him. So, Stuart, I'm going to switch camera position to put you on screen. Stuart McDonald, why do you have one of your former race suits hanging up behind you?
Well, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, one of my friends from Wolverhampton had offered me a little chance of a skid. So I thought to myself, you know what, I quite fancy it. So I went and got my Kevlars and my boots and all my bits and bobs out of the garage. Stuck them in the wash about 5 times to make them smell a bit fresher. But unfortunately, I had a bit of a sore knee, so I couldn't jump on the bike. But hopefully, all going well, in the next sort of 6-7 weeks, I'll maybe have a skid again.
Where's this at, Stuart? Where's it at? Come on, inform us.
Well, I don't want to give too much away, Nigel, because I'd probably need to kill you. But it is top secret. Obviously, only the government know about this, so I can't really notify at this point. What I can say is the appearance money is phenomenal.
Yeah, well, hey, Stuart, we ain't going to say how to us for on here, are we? So you can tell us.
Listen, see when I come off here, I'll tell Derek, I'll tell Andy, but I'll not be telling you.
Yeah, well, it's
Stuart,
all right if you tell
Stuart,
me.
the one thing you must do, Stuart, is arrange for some video footage of it, please, that we can play
I'm
out
sure
on
that
360.
we can organise that.
Excellent.
Listen, after this, when we're all finished, I'll tell you two, but Nigel, unfortunately.
Nigel, listen, Nigel, how about this as a proposal to the BSPL for next season, right? What every club has got to track a former rider who's been retired for 10 plus seasons. How about that, Nigel?
Yeah, that'd be all right, as long as it ain't 20 plus.
30 plus for you.
It would be 30 plus as well, maybe.
Oh, gosh.
No,
Right,
no. You beat Peter Carlson in 1996 in Wolverhampton, remember? And that bike that I bought off you.
How old is the race suit, Stuart?
1996.
That's a 96. That's a Wolverhampton winning race suit, right?
Yes,
yeah?
it is.
Wow, very good. Wolverhampton
also,
fans, do you recognise that race suit?
There you go.
Yeah. Right, listen,
I still think you should tell us, Derek. I still want him to tell us where he's going to have a go.
You haven't told us at all. No.
Well, I don't know.
You'll have to come to Glasgow at the train school.
Maybe Glasgow. There you go. Maybe Glasgow. You know.
Keep an eye on it.
I'm not sure when Sky want to record it, so I'll need to find out what their favourite track is. It's behind closed doors, obviously. So I think ITV might be there. But I'll let you know, Derek, when you want.
Stuart, all I want to ask is, has 360 Speedway opened up this opportunity to you? Has it opened doors for you, Stuart?
I think with the pressure that you've put on me off screen, it has definitely done that, yes.
It's never opened any for me so far.
Well, there will be from the rest of us.
I know. Right, guys, let's crack on with Fans Pulse Lap 3 then. So here's a discussion topic, folks, that every Speedway fan will have and should clearly have a view on. We all see firsthand whenever we go to a meeting, any meeting whatsoever, that we like to see riders interact with supporters, before a race, after a race, and in particular after a meeting even. And we'll have a bit of a chat around on-track interactions. So guys, one of the strengths of Speedway, we've touched on it before, over many other professional sports in fact, is that the riders themselves are highly accessible, at least here in British Speedway. I don't know if it's quite the case in Poland, for example. And that's a great thing, it's a strength. On Friday night at Ashfield, I know I keep talking about Ashfield, but the elation on supporters' faces, particularly children, to be able to get selfies and photographs and autographs from the team that they've just seen triumph is you can't value, you can't put a price on that. But we do like as supporters, to interact and feel that the riders are one of us. So let me ask you first of all of you guys are former riders. Andy, I'll bring you in first. Back in your riding days, Andy, how conscious were you, if at all, about trying to be super interactive with supporters and to value the support that they gave you?
I used to try and be as interactive as I could, really. I mean, one of the things steady there, Crabby. But yeah, we one of the things my dad always sort of put into me when I was riding, it's the fans, they pay for you, they pay you wages, so always used to go into the bar and have a drink and let the fans have their say. I mean, now there's social media to sort of do all that sort of stuff, but it was always you go into the bar and let them have the say, and you would have a drink with them and just try and socialise, and they get to know you and you get to know them a little bit.
Nigel, I'm going to bring you on. Same question to you, Nigel. Were you highly aware of wanting to interact with supporters, Nigel?
Well, obviously, 100%. I remember my days at Stoke, my days at Glasgow. I don't even know if they have them nowadays. There used to be a supporters club. The supporters club at Stoke, they put on different events. All the riders turned up. Obviously, so many supporters. There might be 100, might be 200 people at one of these do's, and all the riders turned up. Glasgow, I can remember going to one or two up at Glasgow, where the riders go and the supporters go, and everybody mixes, and I think that's a big part of it. And like Andy says, at the end of the day, the supporters pay the wages. I see so many times when I watch it on TV now, the riders go over the finishing line, turn around and go straight back to the pits. Go around, give them a wave, let them cheer you, get some atmosphere going about the place, let the supporters know that you appreciate them.
100%, Nigel. Stuart McDonald, thinking back to your riding days, 96, pre-96, post-96, how important was it for you, Stuart, to make sure that you celebrated success on track?
Well, I mean, if any riders says that they didn't enjoy racing round after winning the race and getting the accolade of the fans with the line, the buzz was phenomenal when you won a race, and depending on how many fans were there, you could even hear them screaming your name, and a lot of the clubs had a song for different riders. So I think the interaction with the fans is one of the most important parts of the job. When we rode at Shawfield back years ago, Nigel was backing up here, you walk through the full stadium virtually to get to the changing rooms, and what a buzz I felt with fans coming up and asking for an autograph. And I did it as a kid, with Steve Lawson, Jim Beaton, Bobby Beaton, Jim McMillan. I used to love getting up and getting their autograph. And, I mean, back then, obviously, cameras weren't as popular as they are now, but the interaction at Shawfield was brilliant, because you could win there with the crowd for 20 minutes, and the buzz the fans got was phenomenal. And even after it, the bars, Shawfield, Coventry was probably my most exhilarating sessions, if you like, drinking, honestly, with fans, interaction. You went along to TGI Fridays, and even some mornings, the next morning, there'd be fans lying sleeping in cars and vans, and you'd go for your breakfast, and it'd be like, oh, there's a Speedway rider. Listen, it was, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I felt so wanted. When I say that, I mean any sports person does, but getting the fans asking for your autograph, and it was a great buzz. And I think the interaction's gone. I think it's gone the way it should be.
I don't know if it's gone, Stuart, but I think there probably is a marked difference between the era that you guys rode in versus versus the Nigel. You made me laugh earlier because you talked about your riders should at least come round and give a wave, right? And I agree with you. I think that's the minimum level of interaction is to come round after a race and wave to the crowd. But even that, Nigel, made me laugh because there are waves and there are waves, right? There's some riders who could barely lift their hand off the handlebar and wave, and there's other riders who do the full boona. But so even waving, Nigel, there's different shades of grey.
Yeah, but you can still show it, can't you? No matter what anybody says, you've won the race. You should go around when your crowd's cheering you and everything. You should go around and show you a bit of appreciation, surely, shouldn't you? Surely.
Just on that, Derek,
exactly.
I remember when I used to win the odd race with Nigel, when I used to mother him round, make sure he was okay alongside me.
Yeah.
And after the race, Nigel's hand would be the hi, thanks. And I'd be like that, yes. Because to Nigel, it was a sort of normal thing to do, because it was that good. Which, listen, he won most of his races around Sheffield. If I won maybe 1 out of 4 races, he'd have thought I'd have won the lottery. I would be like, yes,
Yeah, but
donuts falling off.
Yeah, but the crowd also enjoyed that, though, didn't they? They probably enjoyed you winning that one race more than Bosey or Robert Nagy winning 4 races. They probably enjoyed you winning that one more. It's good how you have a ride round and give a wave to them and what have you. And the other thing, what you did just say about walking through the crowd, I mean, the young kids, they used to love it, didn't they? Going to changing rooms, coming back, changing rooms, whatever. The young kids used to love it. End of the day, it's them young kids that you want to be mithering, the mum and dads. Oh, we've got to go next week. We want to go next week.
Yeah.
Get them young kids on side at a young age.
Absolutely.
Nigel, when we used to get Sheffield, you'll remember, the kids used to put the cans on their left foot.
Yeah, they did.
They were on a speed bike, and they used to ask you when you got your autograph, can we race at the start? But it was that what made it for the nights, like you say, mums and dads, take me next week, and even get some of the dads that would sponsor you through things like that. And I think it can lead to so many avenues interacting. I mean, I had one sponsor at Glasgow. I don't know if you remember him, Derek. You might, Nigel. American chap with a big long beard.
Rings a bell. Yeah.
He sponsored a couple of nights. He spent about 5 minutes with me, and we had a mutual with respect, but we also had some mutual interests. And we spent about 20 minutes with him. His kids came over, got some pictures. He gave me £1,000 the next week in sponsorship.
Wow.
Because of how I was with his kids, and it was a pleasure doing it. I didn't want that.
Yeah.
But it can lead to so much more.
Is that where this has come from then?
Distinguished, I said, Nigel. Have you ever heard George Clooney? They're a bit young for you.
Probably.
See, nice and grey.
Nigel, picture George Clooney, because there's nothing like him at all. And Andy,
there's no Stephen Henry either, Derek.
Stephen Henry, that's Stephen Henry. Viewers, Stephen Henry lookalikes, Jeremy Doyle. And Andy Meredith, within the rider fraternity, there are different personalities, right? You get introverts, you get extroverts. How much does that play into whether a rider puts in much effort to interact with supporters? That must be a factor, right? If you're a bit of a shy and retiring introvert type personality, you're not likely to be, fist pumping the air when you win a race, are you?
Yeah, I think you're right. It all depends on your personality, but the buzz that you have, as the guys have said, when you do win a race, all of a sudden that personality can change into being something completely different, and you're there with the fans, giving it what for as you go round. Like I say, some of the modern day riders, I mean, even if they just go round to do an extra lap anyway, it cools the engines down, for example, and all that sort of thing. So I don't see why they don't do it as much, even without sort of, giving it what for the fans. But, if I completed 4 laps, I would be sort of, pretty chuffed with that, and I'd be giving it what for anyway, So, but yeah, it was all good fun.
Just touching on the fan interaction, Derek.
Carry on.
My wife and my kids go to the rugby every week at Wigan. And they go to Robin Park, which is where the train right next to the stadium, and it's maybe an hour and a half before kick-off, and all the players are there signing autographs, and getting pictures taken. And the amount of kids that are there, honestly, it's a great cause and it's brilliant. And I just think that Speedway should do something along those lines and get the fans speaking to riders before the match. I know some of them like to get themselves psyched up, but we're all professional. We're all getting paid good money. They should surely spend a bit of time with the fans just to give them that bit of buzz.
Nigel, it's an observation. I don't know whether there's something in this or not. I'm thinking about modern day riders, modern day Speedway versus back in the day a little bit more. You know, on Friday night again at Ashfield, that's where I go and that's where I consume my Speedway. So that's why I reference it so much. But your playoff semi-final, the atmosphere was unbelievable. But you know, Andy, you were there on Friday. So I don't know if you have a view on this as well, Andy. I kind of got the impression that the rider, you know, as much as the supporters feed off the riders and what the riders are doing on track, I think it's a two-way street, because I genuinely believe that a lot of modern day riders feed off and need some enthusiasm, some support, some vocal support, some clapping, some noise, some cheering. I think they look for that and feed off that from supporters.
Yeah, but that isn't just the modern day rider, Derek. It feeds off the crowd. That was in our day. That's in every sport, I would imagine, whether you're talking football, rugby, speedway. When the crowd are getting behind you, you must get pumped up about that, mustn't you? You've got to do, and if you don't, well, there's something wrong with you. You're not right, are you? You've got to be on it. I can remember going to my very first meeting I ever rode in when I was like 16. It was only second half, and it was at Bellevue at Hyde Road. And honestly, I'd never been, I'd been to Bellevue loads of times and that. But honestly, I went out for that first race. And as you walked out at Bellevue, like, it was just, because it was all covered in at that time and what have you. And the crowd was massive. And bloody hell, you were like a lamb to the slaughter, really. Me, a young bloody kid that drove a tractor, like, going out on this motorbike in front of all these people. Honestly, it was, it was frightening, really. But no, I don't know. You've got to give back to the supporters. That, I'm sure that's where it's losing out a little bit. And Glasgow, you're going to have another one, aren't you? Who are you in the final with? Is that Poole, I take it?
Poole or Redcar, Nigel, to be confirmed yet.
Oh, was it? Right. But, I mean, that's going to be another hell of a night for you, isn't it? Massive crowd again for that.
A true story, Nigel. Halfway through Friday night, I walked over to the paramedic, the doctor on the Centigrade, and I asked them if they could give me anything for anxiety, and they told me, I can't prescribe you anything. You just have to go home. That's why I'm not leaving. I'm not going home. That's the last thing I want to do.
Yeah, but, that's how it gets you then, the playoff. That's how it's got you. And, we all watched Leicester last week, didn't we, against Sheffield? Right down to the last heat, 30 races to get a result, Brilliant for Speedway, isn't it? Brilliant for the crowd. I know Stewart said he didn't enjoy it very much, and I can understand why. But the crowd will have loved it, won't it? Imagine how nervous everybody was from both sides.
And Andy, I know we're talking about Glasgow, Edinburgh on Friday and playoffs, but we're talking about interaction with riders. And Andy, Friday night, more than any other night that I can remember in my whole Speedway going life, the interaction with the riders were super important and really helped to generate that special atmosphere, Andy, on Friday.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all the riders, it helped that we were, winning races as well, So when they were going round, they were stopping in front of the grandstand. Young Max Perry, he wouldn't normally say boo to a goose. And he stopped on the start line and he was giving it everything for the fans. And they loved it and they absolutely appreciated it, and it was great for both of them. And the whole stadium lifted, which lifted the riders, and the riders then lifted the fans. And as you say, it's a two-way street, and it was just an amazing night, something I will never forget, for sure.
Stuart, just to build on that same point that Andy's been talking about, you mentioned Max. Max is a kind of quiet, unassuming young man, but by crikey, can he ride a speedway bike? But to Andy's point, even mild-mannered, quiet, naturally quiet Max was he was fist pumping and consumed by the whole atmosphere and that whole interaction that we've been talking about all night.
Derek, the energy from the crowd on Friday was phenomenal. And if any rider went out there and didn't feel that, then there's something wrong. And Max is one of these riders that's always quite quiet and goes about his business quietly. But, the way that he was celebrating with the crowd and the crowd were getting buzzed up, and it's amazing. I mean, we had a rider at Wolverhampton, Craig Taylor, who was quite a quiet, calm, reserved guy. But see, when he won a race and the fans were there, wow, it was like light, and the riders, they feel it from the fans, and I think both ways the fans have got a major part to play in it, big time. And
well, them supporters, Stuart, them supporters, when Craig Taylor won a race, that would mean more to the supporters, and they'd make more noise for Craig Taylor winning that race than Sam Ermolenko winning all his 5 races, wouldn't they?
They did. You're right now.
It means so much to them, that Craig Taylor had appreciated from the crowd as well. So, like Andy says, it works both ways.
He came into the pits after the race, Nigel, and he'd be sitting next to me in the pits and took his helmet off, and you'd see him. He was buzzing. He was never like that. It was just a buzz, and it was brilliant to watch.
But Speedway, as you guys know, Speedway is high intensity. It's a pressurized sport. You've got to do what you've got to do within 60 seconds, and when you succeed in it and you get that elation at the end, it must be what's the words I'm looking for? It must be a kind of release for a rider to achieve what they've set out to achieve, and share and celebrate that with the supporters, Stuart.
See, when you've got a team like Glasgow did in 93, 94, I mean, I was a reserve, and Nigel, Robert Nige, David Walsh, Shane Bowes, these riders were 10-point average plus. These guys were every week 14s, 15s, and then there was myself and James Greaves to a certain lesser extent. But if we went out and scored 7 or 8 points, like Nigel said, we'd get more support and high fives from the fans than they would, because it was like the young lad, and you could see that I was maybe trying a little bit harder, wasn't as talented as maybe Nigel or David and Shane, and the fans used to be ecstatic. They were absolutely ecstatic. And I just think that it's a great feeling, it's a great buzz. There is nothing else I think that I've done on this planet that gives you that buzz. And
I think also, Stuart, they expected Robert Nige and Bosey and Walshy. They expected them to go out and win races. They weren't expecting you to go out and win races. They were expecting you to pick a few points up. But when you go out and you win a race, the elation on their faces, unbelievable, because they're not expecting you to go out there and do that. They're expecting a few points, and you've just made the night for them.
Nigel,
Nigel,
how do you, when you stop racing, when you stop riding, how do you cope with no longer having that elation?
I really don't know, Derek. I never, but I don't know, because all I ever was a Speedway supporter that rode a bike. That's all I was. That's all I ever was. I was just a Speedway supporter from a young kid, a 5-year-old, to when I finished. To today, I suppose. I've been a Speedway supporter. I don't know. I just had enough. I didn't stop going to Speedway. I still went to Speedway. I didn't fall out with it or anything. And that side of it, because all I was a supporter. And when I finished, I was still a supporter. So it didn't really affect me a lot. But I don't know. Some people it does, doesn't it? Some people, we go back to football, and some of these footballers, they can't accept it, can they, when they aren't the centre of attraction for a word, and it affects them badly, turn to drink, drugs, whatever. I don't know. I mean,
you've turned to vaping, Nigel, I've noticed.
yeah, just now and again, Derek, just now and again. Yeah, an Emmerdale. So
an Emmerdale addict.
Never miss Emmerdale.
He's painting his slippers at his age.
And the final question to you, Andy, just to tie it back to the previous discussion. So, all this interaction, this two-way street, supporters and riders, and the sort of mutual benefits and the sharing of that. that must play into strengthening those emotional ties with riders and with the club that we spoke about in the previous discussion.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when the whole stadium erupts and you're there on the track and you're feeling the appreciation, the fans are feeling the appreciation. It's you do become almost a one unit, and that's important, as you say. That helps the fans be part of the club. The club then becomes part of the fans, and it's just, as you say, it's a whole collaboration really that sort of brings everybody together. Because you're all there for the same reason.
Wonderful. Listen, I enjoyed that. Remarkably, that brings us to the end of episode 24. Some more fresh, enjoyable discussion. I hope you agree, 360 Speedsters. Listen, we only ask what we usually ask every week. Just please be supportive of us. Please help us spread the word. If you are following us on our Facebook page, tag in some Speedway-minded supporters or family or friends who haven't quite found the 360 output just yet. Tag them in, try and point them in our direction. And of course, please, as I asked earlier on, please be as fully interactive as you possibly can. Minimally, hit that little thumbs up. If you haven't done that so far, do it right now. Just scroll down, hit that little thumbs up on YouTube. It's such a powerful action. And please share your feedback on anything that we've talked about. And we're also keen to have your suggestions, your candidate subjects for future episodes. Stewart McDonald, Nigel Crabtree, Andy Meredith, as ever, a pleasure. Thank you for your company this week. Everyone, look after yourself. Enjoy Speedway of Nations and look forward to those playoffs next week. Enjoy your Speedway of Nations. Enjoy the playoffs next week and look after yourself. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See y'all.
See ya.